I'm here at Pritchard Park, right in the center of downtown Asheville. It's the location of the famous drum circles, where groups gather every Friday night in the spring and summer for an intergenerational experience of dancing and singing and drumming. This experience has been going on for years, and after we make it through this pandemic, I'm sure it's one of the first things that Asheville will embrace again. Here at Pritchard Park, we see two different parts of Asheville coming together. There are tourists who come to the mountains almost year-round. They come to enjoy the mountains and the other attractions that are so distinctive about this area. They come to visit the Biltmore House, the largest house in America. They stay at one of the many hotels downtown, and they enjoy the breweries and the restaurants that are just beginning to reopen now. Right across the street here is Tupelo Honey, one of the famous Asheville restaurants that draws crowds almost every day. But there's another side of Asheville that is evident right alongside the tourists. Each night in Asheville, there are about 500 people who are unsheltered. Some hang out here during the day in Pritchard Park. Others sleep at night in makeshift tents by the French Broad River, or finding a corner in a downtown alley, or even sleep in the bushes right outside a First Presbyterian Church where AYM is located. Right alongside the tourists, there are people who lack the security of home, and families who do not know where their next meal will come from. I often think of Asheville as being a tale of two cities, one of privilege and another of poverty. I wonder if you see some of this in your own city. A couple of years ago, the city of Asheville renovated this park and fenced off green areas to discourage people from lying down in the natural areas. The new benches have bars in the middle to make it hard for people to lay down and rest. These benches are examples of hostile architecture, designed intentionally to make sleeping a hard thing to do in public. In Asheville, as in most cities, you can be charged by the police for hanging out too long on a bench or on a sidewalk. And if you're not able to pay the fine, you can be sent to jail. And then there are more fees and eventually more costs that are incurred by the system, and that affects all of us. When I come to Pritchard Park, I always think of my friend Wayne Burgess. Wayne and some friends started a breakfast here years ago on Sunday mornings. The idea was to invite local faith communities to bring biscuits and fruit and juice, and Wayne and others would bring grits and coffee and utensils. Wayne always loved to make the grits. The goal was to have a picnic-like atmosphere, a meal where people of all different walks of life could come together. Wayne was a brilliant man who had a master's in psychology, someone who had experienced poverty firsthand and had a passion to share his lessons with others. For years, I would bring my youth group at least once a quarter to serve at Pritchard Park. We would serve up to 100 people some mornings, and you could easily look across the street to see the crowds of tourists waiting for breakfast at Tupelo Honey. Sometimes the tourists would come over and engage with those of us at the breakfast. While there was an occasional argument or conflict that would arise amongst the crowd, what I experienced with Wayne and others at the park seemed like what God's reign is all about. A place where we all share in the abundance that God intends for all people. It's a taste of the heavenly banquet where people from all corners of the city would gather. A fellowship defined not by the haves and the haves not, but one where everyone recognizes the divine in each other.